Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks a guard tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, swings down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What is going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. And guys, we are here. I told you I was going to find a way to use Kendrick Bourne's name in something. But today I got a whole show based on it. We're also going to hear from our guy, Robert Salah, today. I believe he did a presser with Klay Kubiak as well. So we'll hear from the 49ers coordinators and a couple of players. All the while, week 2 of the NFL football season is underway, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so in 5 minutes or less, I have to tell you guys about my picks. All right, I got to tell you guys about my picks, so here we go. All right, this week's matchups. Why isn't this letting me? Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to sign in. All right, it's giving me a hard time. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go through the picks. All right, so first, let's just start here with, what is that? Is it? Boom, I'm in. Aha. Nope. All right. I'm actually taking the Packers tonight. I'm sorry, the Commanders tonight in an upset. I know my boy is probably at home screaming at me for that, but I am taking the Packers. I have all the faith in the world that they are going to I keep saying the Packers, the Commanders. I'm taking the Commanders. I have all the faith in the world that they bring, they humble. I think they're going to humble them. I also think that Jordan Love's inconsistencies rear their ugly heads. So let me just go through my picks really quick because I know that this is about to go ahead and get started. All right, so. I am taking the Packers. God dang it. I am taking the Washington Commanders. I am not taking the Packers. I see you over there, Izzy. And this is my issue. I got to stop looking around. I'm doing a little bit too much right now. But let me make my week 2 picks really quick. Thank you, Bobo. My anniversary was great, man. 14 years, 15 for you. Congratulations, man. But yeah, no. So this is it's been a beautiful week. Our anniversary was Sunday. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. It's all good. And then Saturday was my son's birthday. So it's been a really, really good weekend. All right. Picks really quick. All right, I'm taking the Commanders. I'm taking the Cowboys against the Giants. I'm taking the Steelers against the Seahawks. I'm taking the Rams against the Titans. I'm taking the Bills against the Jets. There's a part of me that wants to take these Patriots. I really want to take you know what, F it, let's go. We're taking the Patriots over the Dolphins, all right? We are taking the Bengals over the Jaguars. I'm still going Niners versus the Saints. I'm taking the Ravens versus the Browns. I am taking the Lions against the Bears. Am I taking the Colts? Am I taking the Colts over the Broncos? Nah, I can't. I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos over the Colts. Give me the Cardinals over the Panthers. By the way, I have all of the division teams winning. So we have to win this game. We don't want to be 1-1 with everybody else. So everybody in our division I have winning. So we need to go out there and get this dub. I'm taking the Eagles over the Chiefs. I am taking the Vikings over the Falcons, but barely. I am taking the Texans over the Bucks. And Monday night, I am taking the Chargers over the Raiders. All right, so those are my picks. Now that that's out the way, I wanted to make that official before kickoff happened in the game. So now that that is out of the way, let me just go ahead and run through my formalities, all right? So scrolling across the bottom of your screen are going to be the instructions for you YouTubers. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and also let me know when you guys are new subscribers, all right? We'll play a bomb for you. We thank you for joining, okay? Also, guys, you can become a member of the channel. If you become a member of the channel, you guys do get some of the videos that we give out over on the Patreon page, all right? So if you become a member of the channel or you join the Patreon, you get bonus content, all right? You don't get the games like they do over on Patreon, all right? But patreon.com/NB9ERS, that is the place to be. If you guys are looking for somewhere to spend your Sundays and watch the game, you get fantastic commentary by some crazy guy named Mike, and then other guy named Mike also is usually there, all right? Patreon.com/NB9ERS, bonus content as well, some shows that air there first, a couple days before they make it to the YouTube feed, all right? And like I said, you get those guys also if you become a member of the channel. So make sure you guys become a member as well. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Snapchat and X. Those handles are nothing but 9ERS. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And those handles are nothing but Niners. It's spelled all the way out. For those of you who are on Twitch right now watching from Nothing But Niners, the way it appears on the screen right there, I want you guys to transition on over to the Nothing_But_Niners, all right? One logo is white. The other one is black. I want you guys to make sure you subscribe to the one that is in black because at the bye week, the one that's in white will no longer exist, okay? So make sure you guys hit us up over there, all right? So that's all I got for you guys. Let's go ahead and talk, man. We're going to hear from Robert Salah and all that stuff in a little bit. I'm not going to put that on right now. But I just got to talk about the state of this team right now, okay? The 49ers are I don't even know how to explain this. The 49ers, man, all right, QB1, gone. Wide receiver 1, gone. Tight end 1, gone. All right, that's just 3 really key positions on the offensive side of the ball. They're not there. Now, we got by. We finished the game without tight end 1. We did okay. Wide receiver 1 ended up being Ricky Pearsall. Someone stepping up. I like that. That's cool. I have confidence in him. But that wasn't all the issues, right? Like, Brock Purdy ended up finishing the game with a bad toe, right? And Kyle Shanahan said, yeah, he knew about it. He finished the game anyway. No biggie, right? But biggie. No biggie, but biggie. And here's why I say that. This guy is projected to miss up to 5 weeks. That's a really long time to miss. 5 weeks is a long time to miss. All right? And so I don't want to see it. I don't want the Niners to play without our starting quarterback. But that turf toe thing, it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Patrick Willis decided to retire due to turf toe, guys. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. But one of the greatest linebackers to ever do it decided to leave because of turf toe. Now, I'm not saying that it's that bad for Brock Purdy. I have no idea the severity of it. But you're missing 2 to 5 weeks based off of the report from Ian Rappaport this morning. That's troublesome to me. That's troublesome. Now, I know I did my picks, and I told you guys I still got the Niners winning, and I got the Niners winning by a decent amount, too. Let me just go ahead and say that. But I am worried about the offense, and I feel like I might just be a blind fan here. Because if you told me, Mike, your guys' safeties are, replacement-level players, I would agree with you. If you said you don't have your starting quarterback, your starting wide receiver, and your starting tight end, and you guys have never had a good tight end too. Those are all true statements. If you told me that your best lineman doesn't look good right now, he's playing very poorly, I would have to agree with you there also, right? Your offensive line overall isn't that great, Mike. I would have to agree. Your offensive line in game one didn't really start blocking well until the second half. Like halfway through the third quarter, they started opening up some holes for the running backs. I would agree. So how on earth do you expect to win these games? And I don't know. I don't have an answer for you guys, right? But here's what I do know. The 49ers went out this offseason, and they got Mac Jones. And they didn't get him because they were forced to. They wanted him. They went out and got Mac Jones for a reason. And there are some people in the 49ers community that feel like maybe, just maybe, Brock Purdy isn't the answer. I was watching the Two Goat show with Mariah and Steph earlier today. And there was someone in the chat saying over and over that Brock Purdy is not the long-term answer. While, yes, he has a deal, that doesn't necessarily mean he's the long-term answer, right? It's kind of like, Jimmy Garoppolo got his deal, but he wasn't the long-term answer. They just had to pay him. It was time to pay him. He got paid. And when players get these contracts and they're not bumped to the top of the charts, it's kind of like what the team is trying to tell you, right? Like, hey, we like you, and we can win with you, but you may not be the guy. And I'm not here to say whether or not Brock Purdy is the guy. That's not for me to say. He does leave me scratching my head at times. He does have me wondering, like, why did you do that? You guys have heard my criticism of his week one performance, right? I'm not hiding that at all from anybody. I've been very upfront with how I felt about him, okay? But they went out and got Mac Jones for a reason, whether it was because he was the best backup available on the market, if this was someone that somebody wanted in the past and now they have an opportunity to get him here. This is the same Trey Lance draft. But he's here. He's here. I don't know how the Niners win this game. I have them winning by a lot. But I don't know how they do it. I don't know. But Kendrick Bourne is here also. And if Kendrick Bourne, I talked about his effect already. I talked about how he kind of inspires the wide receivers, in particular Juwan Jennings, to be better. Right? Not showing up. Here comes Kendrick Bourne. I'm here. Healthy, ready to go. Right? Uh-oh. He's got an injury. Don't know if I'm going to be able to participate. I don't know, man. It's looking a little sketchy. They sign him. Okay. Now he's going to be back again. Now you watch. He's going to be back. He's not going to miss any time. You watch. But sometimes the stars align in a way that you never thought they would, could, or even should, right? Many, many moons ago, the 49ers traded a bunch of picks to move up to third overall in a draft. And they drafted this quarterback named Trey Lance. But there were a lot of people saying that, oh no, the pick is Mac Jones. It's definitely Mac Jones. Many, many moons ago, the 49ers had this wide receiver named Kendrick Bourne on their team. And when he departed, the faithful had this sigh, not of relief, but like maybe a gasp, right? Like, Bourne is gone. Now, he was our wide receiver 3 here, but he was good at what he did. He was a chain mover. He was a blocker. He brought energy, right? And the Niners ended up replacing Bourne with a guy named Juwan Jennings. He brought energy, he was a blocker, and he was a chain mover. Birds of a feather, yes? So Trey Lance time comes and goes. We move on and we get a guy, Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy's never thrown to Kendrick Bourne. There's no rapport there. But But as fate would have it, and as the stars slowly start to align, Kendrick Bourne goes to a team in the New England Patriots that actually drafted Mac Jones, the guy that some people swore Kyle Shanahan was all in on. He goes there. And while he's there, he works with this guy named Mac Jones. And not only does he work with him, he builds up a little bit of a rapport. I'm not saying that these two are going to save the 49ers season, but there's got to be a part of you that feels better, right? Mac Jones has been working with the backups. He's been working with all the different people all over the team, right? He's been getting some reps in there. He's even got reps with the newest wide receiver the 49ers signed, guys, and Kendrick Bourne. They've got a rapport. And here's one thing you got to know about Mac Jones. He's going to be stationary as fudge in that pocket. He's not going to be doing a whole lot of moving. He's not going to be doing a whole bunch of scrambling. That's not his game. It's not his game. Ooh, you get a holding call on a play that you lose somebody, like an injury to. Oh, man, that is talk about adding insult to injury. That is not good. That's not good. Jaden Reed, he's hurt. He's hurt. Not moving that arm at all. Hope he's okay. Don't like to see injuries. I want Washington to win, but I don't want it to be because of that. So, back to my point, and I won't make this too drawn out, but I just think that there's something to be said about Kendrick Bourne and Mac Jones being here at the same time. We need them both right now. You know, this will allow maybe Juwan Jennings to take some time off if he needs to. Hey, you don't have to rush back for us. You don't have to do that. We got Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, well, Kendrick Bourne doesn't have rapport with Brock Purdy because they haven't really played together before, and we just got him here, so he hasn't really done – oh, well, that's fine, but Brock Purdy's out now, so you don't have to worry about that. That's not your responsibility. It's not your job anymore, right? Like, just the timing just seems too perfect. When people say that the NFL feels scripted, I think this is what they're talking about. Dream Prophet says here, one of the first comments in the show, go look at Kendrick Bourne catching touchdowns from Mac Jones. Mac's rookie season was lit, especially with Bourne. We will see if Kendrick still has that explosive playmaker ability. He was cut for a reason. Now, see, I like that, right? You started out positive. You started with love, but then you got to the, I'm not going to call it hate, but you got to it right there at the end, right? And I like that. He was cut for a reason. He kept getting injured, you know. He couldn't really do a whole lot. And by the way, he wasn't really explosive. He was just a good possession guy. He's a good possession guy. Kendrick Bourne is a guy that you could throw to 15 times in a game. He's going to come down with 12 of them, but he's only going to get like 89 yards, right? Like he's going to be that guy. How did Kendrick Bourne do at practice? Well, I don't know yet. We're going to have to find out. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. All right. Dream Prophet was in here. Rob, Ronnie, Kev, Steven. I see my girl, NJ Izzy, in here. What's up, Melissa? Alejandro's in the building. Bobo was in here also. Aaron's in the building. Great comment here, right? Whoever has the 49ers voodoo doll, can we call a truce? Like, yeah, like give us a break. Oh, no, don't give us a break. Bad choice of words. I'm sorry. That's on me. My apologies. Bad choice of words. But like we need some understanding. A truce was a very good way to say it. Very good way to say it. All right. Let me see here. This is a good question here. All right. I'm going to get to Robert Salah and Klay Kubiak and the players shortly here. I'm just looking through the comments to see if there's anything I need to get to. Bobo says, hey, Mike, I have a question. How do you feel about Leonard Hankerson or wide receiver coach, do you think he's developing the receivers that we have? It's a good question, man. We haven't, as Niner fans, we haven't fully been able to see if wide receivers develop, and I think that was more due to Kyle, not necessarily the coaches, right? Kyle's always been a little hesitant to throw inexperienced guys in the system, right? We go out and we get these veteran guys, and even the veterans don't really get a lot of burn, right? Like we had Chris Conley. How many targets did he even have on the full season? 30, right? But he was here and healthy and running routes a lot, right? And the opposite of that is a rookie guy like Jacob Cowing, who was healthy for a lot of the year and then just nothing, right? You know, you're talking about 3-4 targets on the season, something like that. And so it's hard to say if these guys are developing because you just don't get a chance to see them, right? Where now it's like Pearsall has to be the guy. We're watching Pearsall be forced out there. Same way that we saw Dante Pettis be forced at the end of his first year. The same way we saw Brandon Ayuk kind of be forced out there at the end of his first year, right? All of a sudden, when the veterans start to fall down, Kyle's kind of forced to rely on some of these rookies. Well, we're here again. I can't speak to their development because I didn't see them early on. I just see what I see now. So I don't know. I don't know if they're developing them or not. Here's what I do know. They're confident. They're confident in these guys. But it is concerning. I heard Kyle Shanahan say recently that I don't go into games to just say this person's going to get this many targets. It has to do with a lot of different things, but where you are and timing and the rhythm of the offense. If these guys aren't getting targets, it tells me that either the quarterback is locked in on someone or they're not where they're supposed to be. So maybe they're not developing. Maybe they're not developing after all. Maybe we get the answer that way. All right? So I don't know. We have to see. Absolutely have to see. Listen, Daniel Jones had one magic game. Doubt he has 2 in a row. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, Melissa, I think Danny is a better quarterback than what New York ever gave him an opportunity to show. They never really invested in their line. They were hesitant to give him weapons. This dude was getting a raw deal. It was him and Saquon. And I kept telling people he is a poor man's Josh Allen. Big arm, likes to move, just didn't get the opportunity. So we got to see how it goes. I see Callie in the building. Pockets in the building. Now, this is a good question here. Ronnie says, Mike and Kendrick Bourne help the rookies develop like Emmanuel Sanders did Debo and B.A. Yes, he can. Absolutely he can. Again, someone who knows the system, who's been here before, I'm not going to get a lot of burn. He's got nowhere else to be but right next to those young, inexperienced players. And I like that. I like that. He absolutely can do that. Until they call his number, that's where he's going to be. He's going to be in the ear of these guys. He's going to be talking about the precision and what it takes. Don't waste those extra steps. You know, they talked about how Pearsall came on at the end of it all. Talk about how Pearsall came on at the end of everything. And while that's true, they were saying that the reason, Purdy said the reason is because he stopped wasting steps. You need a veteran to go in there and emphasize that. So, yeah, I do think he can help. Jawan and KB can absolutely be compared. They did the same thing for this team in their time here. They were both wide receiver 3. They were both chain movers, and they were both emotional spark plugs for this team. They absolutely can be and should be compared. Neither of them are the fastest guy on the team. You got more height in Jawan Jennings. That's it. Jawan Jennings is a little bit more physical than Bourne was. He was a little bit more physical than Bourne, but they're absolutely the same type of guy. Let me see here. Rick is in the building. I see you. Wait a minute. Do we have breaking news? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Do we have breaking news? Give me a second, guys. Trying to get some confirmation on something here. Oh, okay, no. Okay, never mind. No breaking news. All right. So, 49ers practice report today. Did not participate with Brock Purdy, Jawan Jennings, Trent Williams. Now, Christian McCaffrey was back. Nick Bosa was back. YGM was back. Barch and Pooney were back. Watkins was back. And running back James was back, so that's good. So the rest days went to Jawan Jennings and Trent Williams. But they called it knee and the rest day for Trent. Yesterday, on Wednesday, McCaffrey got the rest day. So, they're back in there. All right. Let's go ahead and hear from Robert Salah. This was earlier today, so I'm gonna bring this guy in here now. Mike, do you see Tig traded for needed depth? My understanding is that they were trying to trade him and there were no takers. Someone out there is going to get him. But they have to have a need for him. It's got to be a team that was interested in him coming out of the draft. And the Niners just are going to have to take like a future. It's going to be like he's going to be traded for like a swap of picks or something like that. Yes, I'm sorry. Jordan James is back at practice. I apologize if I wasn't clear. Yes, Jordan James is back at practice. And I like seeing that Watkins is back at practice too. No, I'm not going to say what I thought I saw, so it's okay, Steve. But there was no breaking news. No news to break right now. All right, no news to break. I do need to get to this presser, so let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, your defensive coordinator, and maybe our season savior, Robert Salah. Let's make some noise for that. Oh, wrong noise. Did not do that on purpose. I did not. That's going to look like shade. That was not shade. I didn't do that on purpose. Real life mistake. My bad. Definitely was not on purpose. All right, here we go. Robert Salah, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, guys?
What can you tell us about Adrian Martinez? They had Adrian with the Jets last year, now he's here. What's the story with Adrian?
Big fan of Adrian's. He's first and foremost, a really good person. He's got a live arm. He's athletic. And he's young in the game, and he's a willing learner. But he's a good player.
He seemed to have some effectiveness rushing from the inside and in the opener. What do you see from him and how he can contribute even with limited snaps at this point?
Yeah, he's as he gets comfortable, obviously coming back from injury will increase his reps. But one thing he can do, he's versatile in that he can play outside and inside. I do think he's very powerful as a pass rusher, but he also has great feet and athleticism to capture an edge. And you kind of saw it. I mean, for a guy who hasn't had really any practice reps or game reps, he went out there and I thought he did really well. So looking forward to seeing how he progresses over the course of the year.
That right there is a good sign for the 49ers, man. We are going to need him. You going to bed, baby? Good night, baby. All right. That's a really good sign for the 49ers, knowing that YGM is back out there, man. I can't say it enough. We need some more help on that defensive line. Did anybody notice Huff last game? We'll come back to that, maybe.
How would you assess Michael's first game? He didn't exactly light up the stat sheet, but he was on the field a lot.
Yeah, he was. There's a lot of things he's got to clean up. There's, when you get into an NFL game plan and it's going pretty quick, there's a lot of assignments, alignments for those guys where, they're not just, we're not just lining up in the same spot like in years past. There's different things that we're asking him to do, which is a lot for a rookie. And, when his feet are in the ground and he knows what to do, he looks really good, and he'll come along. He'll come along just fine. But he on the 40-yard play, got it. You talk about inches on the 40-yard play to at the end of the game. He's about to end it, and that center for Seattle, I think, makes an unbelievable play to save it. But Michael is he's free off the pick, and he's about to end the game. But so he did a lot of really good things, but there's obviously some things he's got to clean up.
Like him more from the inside or from the outside? Do you like what he's been doing from the inside more or the outside?
It's going to be a work in progress for both. He's gonna make his living, at least while we're here, being a first and second down run defender on the outside, and then rushing the passer on the inside. And
this is a really good question, because I notice they're still giving Nick Bosa the freedom of moving left and right, and that's going to be tough for that. I mean, it's not going to be tough. Edge rushers have to be able to play from both sides, so we have to see how it all plays out. But that was a really good question right there. That was good. I'm going to play it again. I like that question.
He's about to end the game, but so he did a lot of really good things, but there's obviously some things he's got to clean up.
Like him more from the inside or from the outside? Do you like what he's been doing from the inside more or the outside?
It's going to be a work in progress for both. He's gonna make his living, at least while we're here, being a first and second down run defender on the outside, and then rushing the passer on the inside. And we think he can rush the passer outside too, but we also think that he can be an elite interior pass rusher, which is very hard to find. Those guys are rare. Even more rare than an edge guy. So he's got great versatility to him, and when you ask guys to go inside out, it does take them probably a little bit more time. Especially when you think of our philosophy, we try to get guys doing one thing and doing it really, really well. He's in a position, and his greatest gift is his greatest curse in terms of his versatility, and we're trying to make sure that we balance it enough so that way he can maximize who he is.
When you consider the Seahawks. When you consider the Seahawks game, in all three phases, defense did well. Compared to all three phases, defense did well against the Seattle Seahawks. But then you talk to the players, and they're all saying, well, we got a lot to clean up. We have a lot of mistakes that we made that we got to clean up going into the next week. As specific as you can allow, what are some jumps or some improvement that you are looking forward to seeing, even if you can get specific with the players that you're looking forward to seeing it out of in this next week?
Well, you always want to be clean. We gave up 5 explosive plays. And you're never going to, I shouldn't say never, but you're trying to strive to keep it to a minimum. You want to make sure that your assignments are always 100%. The things you've got control over. It is the NFL. You're going to miss a tackle. You're going to lose a one-on-one. That's going to happen. But you never want it to be because you weren't 100% in your technique. You weren't 100% in your effort. You weren't 100% in your intent and violence. So there's that stuff that we have to clean up, and if we can continue to do that, there are mistakes out there that we didn't get caught on, and I think that's what they're alluding that's what they're alluding to. There's things that you look at on tape and to the naked eye, oh, no big deal, but to us, it could be taken advantage of by a good offensive coordinator who sees the space that certain techniques are creating.
I just want to pause this really quick because I saw a comment right here. Rob, this has got to be the most frustrating thing in the world for people. He says, remember when Monday Night Football was on ABC? Now you need Disney, Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube TV to catch all the games, and they're mad when people stream games. Yeah, right? Like, it's too much to try to keep up with. Now, I won't speak for all the other games. Like, right now you have to watch it on Amazon Prime, right? But I can promise you this. If you want to watch 49ers games and you don't want to go all over the place, come and join, man. If you're not already a member, guys, patreon.com/NB9ERS, $5 tier and higher, you will get the games here. All right, so that's something that you aren't going to have to worry about. All right, let's get back to it.
How did Bosa play up before the final grand finale?
I thought he did it. He was outstanding. You know, I get the sacks and all that stuff, but he was rushing with great power. His run defense was on point, played smart, and I thought he was awesome.
And just can you kind of just, I don't know, quantify how big of that final play was by him and how it kind of defines who he is?
Well, it's I think I've talked to you guys about it before. Like, they're closers. You know, guys like him, Bryce Huff. You know, they're closers. They, you know, I joke about it, but it's also part truth in that, you know, even in baseball, you got this guy who comes in and closes the ninth inning, and he plays once every 30 games, and he's asked to close a game, and he gets paid a junk ton of money to do it. That's that guy. You know, you're in the fourth quarter, every game's going to come down to one score, and you need somebody to close the game. That's where those interior edge rushers and interior pass rushers come into play.
You have to like kind of reinforce that with him going into the season at all?
No, he's wise beyond his years.
What's the key to defending the screen pass? It seemed like you guys identified it and attacked it pretty aggressively.
Effort. It's 11 heads to the ball. It's setting edges on the outside and 11 heads running to the football. It's not one guy that defends the screen. It's the entire defense. And so we always talk about defending screen is about effort. It's as simple as that.
Assessment of the Saints offense.
You know, it's we've played Kellen before. Got experience with him in the past, both here, the Jets, all that good stuff. He's a damn good coordinator, a very, very good play caller. You know, they showed a variety of stuff. You know, they're not just going to sit back and be a vanilla offense. They're going to give you multiple personnel groupings. They're going to jump in and out of tempo. They're going to give you some wonky looks. They're going to make you work on a lot of things. And they've got the personnel to do it. Alvin Kamara is one of the better backs in the league. Their O-line is very talented. The receivers are as fast as we've seen up to date. And this quarterback. I'm telling you, he's going to be a household by the end of the year. This kid's pretty good. So he's a twitchy athlete. He's got a hell of an arm. He's very decisive in his decision making as he goes through his progression, and he's accurate with the football. So they gave Arizona everything they could handle. So.
You guys won the time of possession in this first game by 16 minutes. How important is for your young defense to play complementary football early in the year?
I think you know when you it's a great observation. You know, the offense was outstanding on Sunday. That Seattle defense is a bear. They're gonna be a bear all season, and our offense was able to just churn out time. And I've always said that the best defenses in the world are the ones that are on the sideline watching. You know, and our offense was precise. They're in favorable situations. They were converting on third down, running the heck out of the football. Just it was cool to watch on the sideline. It was awesome.
Last week that we were talking about the game slowing down for rookies, and you joked, well, let's see week one. That's when it's really going to speed up. So how did Siegel and Stout do in that regard?
They were good. You know, I thought they did nice jobs attacking Stout and giving him some things that, you know, you can prepare for. But until the speed of week one happens, you know, there's just little things that he'll be even better on. And Siegel, I thought, did a really nice job. There's things that he can clean up. He was in certain positions that could have left him vulnerable, but thankfully he came out unscathed. So, you know, I thought overall all the rookies did a nice job for their first game, and the key for them is to continue growing.
Robert, Bosa said you were nervous before that game. I assume you might be nervous for each game, but there was a different level of anxiety. Is that true? And is it just because of like kind of the unknown of what that was going to look like?
You know, I'll tell you guys a funny story. So on Monday night, I had a dream that Seattle
Yeah,
scored 37 points. It's a nightmare.
wow.
And I told Gus about it, and he goes, man, only 37? That's pretty good. By Friday, it gets down to about, you keep going down. So, yeah, if you have a conversation with me in the beginning of the week, I'm scared to death. As of now, I think we're going to give up 50. So, but that's just the way we're all wired. Well, at least I'm wired. I'm scared to death, and I need to prepare as good as I can to calm my nerves on Sunday.
Is it junk time?
That
Was
is
what you
no.
said? Junk
Hold
ton of
on.
money?
We got to pause that.
Junk.
That is phenomenal. I love hearing that a coach is nervous. I love that he thinks that his team is going to get blown out, right? It's because that tells me that he cares, right? Like, this tells me that, he doesn't want to get caught off guard. And it's likely to happen too, right? Like, not 50 points or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I think what he's trying to say is that there is a chance always that a team can catch you off guard. They can exploit something. He was talking about it earlier when the defensive players were saying that we got to clean up, we got to clean up, we got to clean up. Those nerves make you better. If you go into a game too confident as a coach, oh man, there's nothing worse than that. That means that you trust your game plan, and that also means you're less likely to deviate from that game plan, even if it's not working. So being nervous is a good thing. I love hearing that from Robert Salah. That's great. That is absolutely fantastic, man. I can imagine people are like, your defensive coordinator doesn't have faith in what the guys are going to do. That's not how I take that at all. That's not how I take it. It's just that, like, I can't let this happen. I can't let this happen. I'll be interested to know what the highest amount of points are we're going to give up this year. It's going to be interesting. Good stuff by Robert Salah there. Let's get back to it.
A better word than saying the S word for you guys. You good? All right. Appreciate you guys.
So that's it for Robert Salah. Kubiak is going to be up next. So when he comes in, I'll go ahead and play that as well. Hopefully you guys are at least getting to watch some of the Commanders as well. Are you guys watching this game? Because right now, I might be wrong on my pick. Man. We'll have to see. This is great, right? So I love it. Filthy has a great comment here. Refreshing to hear someone that can communicate about defense on the podium. Didn't get that from Sorensen. Sorensen's whole presser was, we just got to get better. We got to clean some things up. We got to make less mistakes, right? And it's like, yeah, we know that, but how? Well, we just get, like, I remember when Sorensen was at the podium and they were like, your team missed a lot of tackles. Like, how do you improve on that? We got to make tackles.
Excuse me, bitch? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, yeah, yes, we were asking how you fix that, right? Like, he didn't say, we're going to go back and do some tackling drills or anything like that. Like, he just, we just got to fix it. And so, Filthy, you're absolutely right. I want to hear a guy go in here and be able to communicate openly about the pros, the cons, and everything in between about his defense, right? Hearing a scouting report on Spencer Rattler, like, it's just little stuff like that that goes a long way into it. You want your defense to think that they are facing the best quarterback they've ever seen. And if you listen to how Robert Salah described Rattler, he's going to be a household name by the end of the year. This guy is accurate. He's decisive. He can move. He's got a big arm. He's athletic. Like, he was talking about him like how people were talking about Cam Newton his rookie year, right? Like, well, minus the accuracy thing. But, like, he makes it sound like we're going up against the best quarterback, and we can't, there's no margin for error. There's no room for error. And I want to hear that, right? Because it's guys like me who are going to be like, man, we're going to smoke these guys. Who was Spencer Rattler, right? It's the content creators that are going to give you all the confidence and arrogance when it comes to this game or any game, right? And then you need that defensive coordinator to humble the guys. You need that defensive coordinator that's going to be like, hey, no, we can't go in there and make mistakes, guys. Like, we got to clean it up. Like, this guy is really good, and he will pick us apart if we let him. I love hearing that. Absolutely love hearing it. So Again, kudos to Robert Salah. Let's hear from Klay Kubiak now. Let me go ahead and bring him up to the stage and see what he's got to say. Let's go.
All right, how we doing? Good. Ready to roll.
Just the impression's been of Mac since he's been here, and what's kind of his state of readiness if indeed he has to go this week?
Yeah, Mac's been really impressive since he walked in the door. Just the way he's kind of first been open to the coaching and open to learning what we do here and the way we coach quarterbacks, bought in from day one. And you've seen the growth. You saw it in OTAs and then in camp. He had a great camp. And if we need him to play, he's going to be ready. And he's done everything we want him to do. And, if Mac gets an opportunity at some point, then I'm excited to watch him play.
He's talked a couple times about just like the need to kind of rebuild his confidence, just in terms of feeling free to cut it loose when he sees something and trusting it. Have you seen growth in that regard just over the last, 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to because I wasn't coaching him, but I do see growth from OTAs to training camp to now. I mean, you saw a guy who was learning in OTAs, and then a guy who was more confident in camp, and a guy who's fully confident right now. So, his sort of trajectory has been great.
Expectations
like hearing that about Mac Jones.
This year were high for him to make a second-year lead. His performance in Week 1 seemed to validate that to some extent. What have you seen from Ricky and just the strides that he's made?
Yeah, I mean, just the offseason he had. Obviously, he had some setbacks, but the training camp he had really, and the way he was able to stack days, stack weeks, put together practice after practice and get better. It paid off on Sunday. I think I told Ricky, you're ready to play. You're ready to go out there and make plays, and he did.
Good for Ricky Pearsall.
Okay, what's the next challenge? Get a new game plan, go against a new team, and do it again. And that's what he's got to keep doing. So,
you said there was a lot of timing that he had to figure out with Brock from year 1 to year 2. Now with Mac stepping in, how much of an adjustment is that for a receiver to try to kind of get on the same page in one?
It's probably a little. I mean, I'm sure there's some. I think the timing adjustment is more just learning our route tree and learning with whoever the quarterback is, learning the timing of our routes, and whether it's Brock or Mac or anyone. That's there's a growth kind of period to that, and he's still growing, and I think he's definitely more comfortable. So, sure, the quarterback maybe changes it, but I think he's no matter who's throwing him the ball, he's in a pretty good position right now with all that stuff.
What do you think of Watkins? What did you think of him this summer? Is he ready to roll this week?
Yeah, we'll see. He's coming off the injury, and he's gotten to practice. I think he practiced once last week, and he's gotten 2 good days in. And so for him, it's about, just continuing to put good practices together, and depending on kind of how our room shapes out for game day, whether he gets an op or not. But he's been doing a good job, and we expect him to keep getting better and contribute if he has to play. So.
Only been a couple days, but how has Kendrick Bourne looked, and where do you see him fitting into that group?
He looks good. It's new right now to him. He was here in the scheme before I was here, so there's learning. And with any new player, but he's an NFL receiver. He's a big, physical, strong guy. Got great hands, and he works, and he's got a great passion for football. And so there's a growth period there. He's got to keep getting reps and keep seeing things, but again, we'll kind of see how it shapes out for Sunday.
See from Brandon Staley's defense in New Orleans, what makes him tough to face?
Great question. Great.
One, just the way he coaches, fundamentals, the technique of his scheme is as good as anybody. His guys play extremely fundamentally sound and extremely hard. He does a great job of mixing stuff up. He's not a guy that you really can predict things from a drive to drive. So he kind of keeps you on your toes. He's a super smart coach. He puts his players in a position to play fast, and he's just going to keep you guessing, keep you on your toes as a play caller. And so, he's been around him for a year. He just learned a lot from him, and it's going to be a challenge for sure.
What do you got when you don't have George out there? Just how do you make up for what he brings, and just how do you approach filling that void?
You don't make up for losing a player like that. I mean, George has been playing at a high level, but you eventually have to get to a point where you move on and you say, okay, what do we have, and what position are we gonna put these guys in that we have now? And so it's not about replacing George, it's about guys stepping up and playing good football.
Great answer.
That's just how I see it.
Great answer.
People who weren't familiar with Jake Tonjes before he made that catch, what makes him good? What makes him an NFL player? What's his skill set?
Yeah, Jake's got great hands, and he's got a route running skill set. For a tight end, he can He can stretch the field vertical. He's got good speed, but to me, it's his hands. And you saw it in the preseason. He made some really good plays for us in the preseason. So he's got the receiving skill set, and we've been developing him as a blocker, and he's gotten better. And so he's been cool to see kind of grow as a player over these past couple of years.
Were you surprised at all that Seattle stayed with their nickel, and when you guys went to 12 and 21 personnel, that seemed like they stayed with the nickel? Were you expecting that?
Yeah, that's kind of what they do. They do play base, but they're primarily a nickel defense. 21 Witherspoon's, I think, one of the best defensive players in the league. And so them having him on the field in that position, it makes sense. He's a really good player. So, but we were ready for that.
Your perspective, that touchdown to Tonjes, what's kind of going through your mind as the play is happening? And
it's like slow motion. You see Brock kind of moving around and buying time, and you're just hoping to see.
Oh no!
He caught it.
Nobody
really popped, and Brock threw it up and threw the perfect ball. So it was, it was really cool.
One of those kind of no, yes type of things.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But that's guys need to make plays to win games, and we did. So.
What's your philosophy on 50-50 balls? Because, you got to throw them, right? You want your guy to throw some of them, but you got to take care of the balls. Do you have a philosophy on it? Does Kyle?
Yeah, you got to give guys ops to make plays. And,
Oh, boy.
That's really it.
Boy.
And guys, when they can't make a play, they got to try to make sure the defender doesn't make the play. And so that's really what it comes down to.
I love that question. I absolutely love that question, right? Because now hear me out. So you get a lot of guys, especially on this team, they're just used to catching the ball in space, but you don't always have that luxury. There's going to be times where everyone is covered. It might be one-on-one, but someone's got to go up there and make a play. So I like it. I love that question. And good answer, knowing that him and Kyle think, all right, you got to give guys the opportunity. Give them a chance to do it. Not every throw that our quarterback makes is going to be to someone who is wide open or streaking across the middle of the field. You're going to have to put that ball in some tough spots. And so I'm hoping to see more of those this year. Hopefully not all in the fourth quarter when we absolutely, it's like a must-have situation. I don't want it then, right? Let's mix them in early. Let's see some of them when we have a lead. Let's see some of them when we're in the first half. You know what I mean? Don't wait for all the 50-50 balls to be like the game is on the line. Now you're just adding nerves to it. Let these guys build that confidence early on. Let them see that, they're going to be out there and look, you've done it before. So when you have to do it when the game is on the line or in the fourth quarter, a game-sealing drive, not necessarily to come back and win, but a game-sealing drive, right? You want them to have that confidence that it's something that they can do. Hey, you're going to be matched up one-on-one here. I'm going to give you an opportunity, just like we did in the first quarter, just like we did in the second quarter last game. Like that's when they know we're not worried about it. Take that pressure off those guys from having to do it in a must-win situation. That's what I want to see. That's what I like. I love hearing that. Great question.
McCaffrey out there, I think 58 snaps. Was there one snap in particular that jumped out at you?
Yeah. There's always little things with Christian that people don't really notice, but for me, I always look at like the runs where, it's maybe a bad look or they blitz or it's just not the best run look, but Christian finds a way to get 5 yards. So now instead of 2nd and 9, you're in 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6, and those make a huge difference in a drive. We say the runs that are blocked for 2 that get 4 or 5, and Christian is very consistent at that. So those are the things I see about him. He's a guy who he grinds and he makes things right for us. So.
Was the plan to give him? Oh, go ahead.
Actually, I was going to ask what Nick asked, so it got answered. Thank you.
Was the plan to give Christian the ball as much as you did? Is the plan to give him the ball as much as you need to win?
It's always a fluid thing, I mean, yeah, we've talked about this in the offseason. Yeah, you'd love to find ways to give Christian a blow, but Christian doesn't like coming off the field. And you're in the heat of battle, and Christian's making plays for us, And so it's just
give
kind of
Christian a what?
Find ways to give Christian a blow, but Christian doesn't like coming off the field.
Excuse
and you're
me,
in the heat of battle, and Christian's making plays for us, And so it's just kind of situational the way that happens. And Brian's going to continue to get more reps because he's coming along and still learning the offense and getting better. So I just think it'll be an evolving thing as we go through the year.
The Saints ran a lot of 5-2 base on last week. What kind of challenges does that present trying to run the ball between the tackles?
Just a lot of big bodies up front, and they have very physical edge setters. and they got big guys inside, and they got 2 really good inside linebackers. And so when you put those 7 guys down there in the middle, it's tough to move them, and so it presents a huge challenge, and that's what we're getting ready for.
What do you see from Jordan James in practice? How close is he to maybe contributing?
Yeah, we'll see what kind of happens for game day, but Jordan's been practicing really well. I think there's a natural kind of needing to get back into football shape after missing time, but he's been back out there. He looks good to me. It's like anyone else who misses time. They need reps. They need to get back into it and kind of see where they're at. So
circling back to that conversation you had with Ricky leading into the Seattle game, how much of him taking this next step is at this stage more mental and kind of having that confidence that he can be the guy? I mean, he talked about Hank, putting those expectations on him and challenging him in that way.
Yeah, I think any player is just confidence. It's just repetition. It's just going out there and doing it consistently. And when you can do it consistently, you got to believe that you can do it on game day. And that's kind of where he's at. And so I think that's the same for all players, really.
Is there a trophy for the Kubiak Bowl? I mean,
no trophy. It's one game. They're on to their season. We're continuing with ours. It's moving on. But it was cool to see my brother last weekend, though. That was nice.
What have been your impressions of Adrian Martinez so far?
It's been really cool to see him get some reps in the scout team. He's a guy who, to me, looks real comfortable. He's a good athlete. He throws the ball well. And, we don't know a ton about him just because he's kind of new here. But from what we've seen, I've been impressed. Cool. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to see if how many players are speaking, if any at all, honestly, because I don't think that there are any players. So I'm gonna stop that there. So listen, man, we heard from the offensive coordinator. We heard from the defensive coordinator. And it's funny, no one asked about the offensive line. And you would think they should, right? Like Trent Williams didn't have a good game. Like the offensive line didn't have that good of a game. And he kind of alluded to how you got a guy like Christian McCaffrey where a play is blocked for 2, but he gets 4 or 5 yards out of it. Well, that's cool and all, but is that sustainable? Now, with a guy like Christian McCaffrey, it probably is. But you saw with Robinson when he went in there, if it wasn't blocked for a certain amount, he wasn't getting much extra. And that's going to come with time. Like he said, he's getting more comfortable with the system. He's learning it and all. But they have to do something to sustain these drives a little bit better. They have to get more physical. And if they're going to come out here and run a 5-2, like that's scary. That's very scary. And with a guy like Christian McCaffrey, no Brock Purdy, you best believe they're going to stack that box. They're going to stack that box in this offensive line. They're going to have their hands full. Knows George Kittle to be an extension of the offensive line in the blocking. They're talking about how Tungus is learning the block and all that stuff. We're going to need some help. Farrell and Tungus are going to have to get out there and contribute as blockers as well. So I'm hoping, this is going to sound a little bit maybe backwards, right? But honestly, I'm hoping that we see a lot of passing plays, right? Run the ball, short passes, but a lot of pass attempts, short passes that make it an extension of the run game. Not necessarily checkdowns to running backs, but I would like to see that because if you can control the clock, you're gonna be okay. We have a shot against any team if we can control the clock. 16-minute time of possession last game was phenomenal, right? And while I love seeing that, that's not going to be reality. What about the games where it's 30-30, right? What about those games where we don't have the time of possession? The offensive line is going to have to find a way to help contribute, right? Last week, the Cardinals sacked Kyler Murray 5 times. Now, how many of those sacks were on because Kyler was holding the ball too long or scrambling around and they ended up running out of bounds? That I don't know. But if you got a 5-man front, and you hear Kubiak talk about how they have really good edge setters, big beefy guys out there, and they, the 2 linebackers that he's touting, like he's talking the right talk, right? He kind of did what Robert Salah did. You praise up the opposing team. That's good. But what's your plan of attack for it? How do you improve the blocking on the offensive line? And we've been saying this for 2 or 3 seasons now. So I wouldn't expect it to be some world-class like masterclass that we're about to put on in New Orleans. I don't think it's that. But what I do think we can see is improvement from last week because it was so bad that it's hard to imagine that it gets much worse. All right. So I'm going to save all of my predictions and all that stuff for the game. We have a show coming to you guys tomorrow night. So make sure you have your notifications and all that turned on. All right. I'm going to go now. It's been an hour. I want to thank you all for rocking with us. You guys are fantastic. Applause to the people in the chat. You guys are great. Continue that applause. We're going to keep that going for the coordinators that we heard from. So I like that also. Great questions by the media there. All right. And then Callie here, he says, Mac isn't mobile, could be vulnerable if the offensive line doesn't turn it around. Again, quick passes. You got to get the ball out quickly. All right. Hopefully we see less batted passes. We get the ball out quickly, and I think Mac will be okay. He's going to be a guy that goes through the progressions. And I will say this about the offensive line. While I wasn't happy with them, when we needed to take a shot, somehow they magically protected pretty well. You think about all the balls that went out there that was 15 or more yards down the field. Purdy actually had some time back there. A couple of times in the game, right? So there's a chance. There's absolutely a chance, all right? We just got to take advantage of it. All right, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you all for rocking with us. And again, I want to remind everybody to head on over to patreon.com/NB9ERS. All right, game day experience is like no other over there. Going to have some videos coming to you guys tomorrow morning. Got a little traffic talk coming to you guys over on Patreon, so make sure you guys get there, okay? And that's going to do it, man. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for rocking with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night, all right? Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners.